here in the US, we're great at keeping people alive for a long time with a really poor quality of life. And I always tell people, when you start out in geriatrics, you know what you don't want. So I'm, really interested in helping people understand like how they can age well and just keep a high quality of life as they get older.
I see that staying fit and healthy is something definitely that is important to you. Can you share a little bit about your background? Because there's something that kind of gave you that passion. Is there like a road that kind of led you into really being interested in holistic wellness and vitality?
It did. I would have to say it probably started with growing up like this. I always joke and say when other kids had pediatricians, me and my brothers had like naturopaths and iridologists and chiropractors, And then when I got into probably junior high, I really wanted to be a medical doctor. And I started working in a nursing home in high school. Ended up staying there for a little while. I gave shots and medications. And through that whole experience, learning about drug interaction, watching what happened to people as they were on 5, 6, 10, 12 medications, I was really became disheartened and just went, gosh, I don't know if this is what I want to do. Like I thought people were going to get better. And so kind of gravitated away from that, but had really developed an interest in fitness when I was in my mid-teens, started lifting weights, would do would walk and run and do like step classes. Those were the thing. Just anything. I loved fitness and activity. So that really, stuck with me. As I moved into my 20s, I continued lifting. I got into endurance sports, did that for a while, and kind of through the world of endurance sports, ended up having some issues with my endocrine system, was just not getting the help I needed, and started figuring it out for myself. And that was when I went, okay, I'm gonna go to school, and I want to help people get better, and I want to help them understand what's happening in their body so they can get better. So that was kind of the path that led me here.
So you had a base for it because you were brought up, like your parents were kind of into that type of thing. Because I had an aunt who was very much into, like, she introduced me to holistic type medicine and stuff. So I kind of knew about it, but some people probably don't. They don't know that there's like a different path or a different way to help themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think like I have people come see me and they're like, I've learned about this as I've gotten older. I wasn't raised this way at all. I think really it's more about just the person being open to it, right? Especially if it's really different than what they're used to, their norm.
Right. Having an open mind.
Yeah.
And now is it naturopathic? Would that be the way to pronounce
Yes.
it? Okay. Practitioner and a health coach. How are you working with people to empower them? Like, what are some of the things you're doing?
Yeah. So, I do labs when people come in. I base, how I'm addressing their illnesses off of their labs and their clinical presentation. Like they come in and they're like, I'm having this symptom, this symptom, this symptom. I look at that, the information they give me in conjunction with their testing to help determine what we need to do. I have a medical director that oversees my practice. So we do some medical treatment in our clinic. It's kind of beautiful being able to do, like we do a lot of IV therapy. We do, bioidentical hormone replacement. We use peptides, all things that can just help amplify someone's health or help them get there faster by being able to do those things that definitely fall under medical treatment, but they're more alternative, right? So, I use a combination of things to help people get well. And I see people that have all sorts of things from Lyme to, hormone dysfunction to, just the diseases of aging and how do I age better and stay healthy. I think here in the US, we're great at keeping people alive for a long time with a really poor quality of life. And I always tell people when you start out in geriatrics, you know what you don't want. So I'm, really interested in helping people understand like how they can age well and just keep a high quality of life as they get older.
And that was the thing too. It says a lot of your expertise is in regenerative medicine. women, with a focus on aging well. So what are some, I know you were talking about a little bit, what are some of the things that naturally help some of the patients? You said the peptides, the IV. Is it changing? Like, did you get into diet changing, what they're eating, that type of thing?
Absolutely. Movement. I see a huge area of opportunity for people, women in particular, not getting enough protein. So they get weak, they get frail, their bones get brittle, they fall, they break something, and that's just kind of the end, right? When it's so preventable and it's so fixable. So educating them on, hey, if you want to stay strong and continue to live independently and travel and do the things that you've worked to be able to do, you have to eat enough protein. You have to eat enough protein at one time, right? Protein synthesis, exercise. I don't believe we can really truly be healthy without movement. Our bodies were made to move. And so you have to get adequate movement. Find something you enjoy and do it often. So educating people about what's going to help them age better, giving them the tools, and then using things like super into peptide bioregulators. So not a lot of noise around them here in the US, but they've been studied clinically in Russia for over 40 years. And I mean, there's clinical data that backs up longevity in using these bioregulators. And I learned about them through Dr. Bill Lawrence, who is a PhD doc. He's a scientist, and he's doing clinical research on them here in the US now. He found Dr. Kavinson's work in Russia and became very interested in it. And I heard him explain them beautifully. He said peptide bioregulators repair our repair systems. And that's such an easy thing for people to understand, right? Because the hallmark of aging is we slow down metabolically. And, I always tell people when we're young, we have, the disease process and our metabolic rate, right? So metabolic rates here, disease processes here when we're young. And as we age, it shifts. And so the goal is to get things working the way they should so our body can repair and we can avoid those diseases of aging.
Now with the peptides, because I haven't heard of the peptides, I have heard of the IV, and I've been interested in that before. Peptides, is that something that is like taken orally, or is that more like an IV type of thing?
So you can do them both orally and through injections. I primarily use the oral supplementation with people because it's so easy, and I can do that with people remotely as well.
Oh, so that's a great thing to talk about. So you also do remote?
I do, yes. I work with a lot of people remotely. I have a lot of people that will come in and they'll have something really, they're not well and they want to really be able to amplify their health, and so they'll come in and do some, come in for a couple of weeks and do some intense IV treatments, and then they go home and we do the rest of the work remotely. And then I have people that just work with me remotely as well. So I can help people in whatever capacity works for them. But my goal is always for them to, really see a meaningful change in their health from the work we do together.
And now what are, I guess you were saying too, what are some of the services you provide? I know the IV therapy, the peptides, what other services are popular?
I would say kind of my specialty. I work with a lot of people for either a 6 or 12 month period to help them regain their health. We're Americans. We want everything right now. But I always explain to people, you didn't get sick overnight, you don't get well overnight. But if we use the right tools, we can get some real momentum so that at the end of our time working together, you feel solid about continuing on. You feel like you have enough traction, right, to continue on. So, one of my favorite things to do, because it's a lot of fun to watch people get better and to help them understand, healing's not linear. We don't just start off, okay, I'm going to get well, and then suddenly all of our stress goes away. I tell people, look, like life still happens. Your child gets sick. Maybe you change jobs, you move, people go through divorces. Those things impact our health. Having the tools to kind of be able to work past that and continue on is really, really important. I think those things can often derail people when they're trying to get well.
Yeah, and talk about the quick fix too. I know, and like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword because a lot of people take things to help them cope, which, again, then those things cause problems and they don't fix the medical and the underlying issues. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's, I mean, it's just, kind of all the tools like coaching, working with people. When I work with them in an extended plan, we engage with each other every other week at a minimum. When you are talking and working with people regularly, it gives you get indications as to what's working and what's not. So you can quickly make changes if you need to. And that's how you can get a dramatic change in someone's health in a short amount of time.
What are some of the other things? I know, what are the benefits of the IV therapies? What do they do? Because I know a little bit about them, but I'm not.
So we do a lot of different IV therapies, right? We do the standard things, like a lot of people nowadays are familiar with things like a Myers cocktail. So we do ours a little bit different. We have more things in it than just a standard Myers cocktail, but we'll do nutritional IV. We do things like high dose vitamin C with high dose mag in it, methylene blue, NAD+. We do multiple passes of ozone. We have a Herman machine from Germany. So we do, multi-pass ozone. We do just a whole bunch of different things for different issues. But intravenous work is so cool because when we put something into the bloodstream, it's 100% bioavailable to the body. So you just get changes that are dramatic and so much faster than only using oral things.
Right, because it has to go through, again, I don't know, I just don't know too much about the process, but it has to go through your stomach and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
Absolutely. We're bypassing digestion. We're bypassing the liver. So if some of these things aren't working great, we don't have to worry about absorption or, converting into active forms or any of that. It's in the bloodstream. It's available to your cells, and it's pretty phenomenal what it can do.
And do you see people of all ages, like younger and older, or mainly older, or kind of vary?
I do. I have like entire families, right? So I see their kids that are in, some of them are in grade school. I see the parents, I see the grandparents, and that's super fun. I love that. I have occasionally we'll work with really young children for specific issues, but I don't do things like, I'm like, go see a pediatrician, right? But I will, if they're having a specific issue that needs to be addressed, I'll work with pretty much all ages. I have a pretty large geriatric population comes to see me, and I adore them. I absolutely love them. They're probably my favorite.
And you get to do and help them too, because I'm sure when you were, you spent the time in the home and stuff like that, it's hard because you see that, like you're saying, the quality of life. You want to do something to help them have a better quality, because
absolutely. It's I think the thing that makes me sad is when you look at statistics here in the US, right? The average, first of all, if you look at the statistics of men, the amount of men that pass away within the first 2 to 3 years of retiring is staggering. And then you look at the average married couple in the US, from the time they retire until death, they spend about $300,000 on health care, right? So this is not on being healthy. This is sickness. It's sad. Like, we're a first world country with an incredibly unhealthy population. And so many of these things are completely avoidable.
Right. And maybe having a little more of like the health, like preventative health, like care, instead of like what are we doing after we already are sick?
Absolutely. I tell people it is so much cheaper and easier to tighten the wheels back on before they fall off.
Definitely. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. It's an analogy people can picture.
And now, besides your work and stuff like that, what are some of the other things that you're involved in, like in your community, or just, that you like to do when you're not working?
I love being outside. If I'm not working, you'll generally find me outside. In terms of things that I'm really passionate about, I love dogs. I do some work in the rescue community with when they need help, when they have sick dogs. We at one point had 5 dogs, where 2 of our older ones passed away. We still have 3, but they're just, I think everyone's life's better with a dog in it. So
definitely. We have 2 little Boston Terriers. They're a little crazy, but
they're so
I love
cute.
them.
Yeah,
they're definitely high strung.
They're just fun. I love it. I love being able to help and give back in that way. It's kind of a, it can be a little heart wrenching, but when they get a better life, it's so rewarding.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, definitely. Yeah, I love to. We always have the stray animals come to our door. So I've worked a lot with just our local humane society and stuff like that. I think we are like a magnet. I don't know, just show up here. Like, so,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's
I
good
love
it's good when you find that out that they, got it, or their owners found them. Maybe they just got out or something, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just being able to help is, it's cool.
Now, if people wanted to know more about your business and about you, what would be the best way to find you and to...
My website, avita-wellness.com. That's a great place to find me. We have an amazing longevity protocol we do with people. It's a year-long protocol. That's in there. Anything we do, you can kind of find on our website. I'm very active on Instagram. Kimberly Verbeke Wellness is my handle. Those are probably the two best ways to connect with me.
Okay. Well, great. I mean, anything else you'd like to add to talk about with our listeners? Because I know they would appreciate any extra tips that you have for them.
I loved, as my takeaway to leave with people is your body is capable of healing. People have just been told over and over that they can't heal. And I'm a big believer, if we're breathing, our body's capable of healing. Our bodies were meant to be whole and well. And don't let anyone convince you that you can't heal. Our bodies are incredibly capable.